Hello everyone, Silver Fox here. Recently, the Tekken community saw the release of patch 5.0 for Tekken 7, and it's changed the meta up quite a bit. There's been some notable changes to a lot of characters, and the initial reaction to the patch was mostly negative. While it's understandable why this reaction was so, I'm here to make the case for why Tekken 7 patch 5.0 is exactly what we needed in the game. So, here are my thoughts. With the release of patch 5.0, we're getting our first update in a very long time. Admittedly, the major patch that we received before this was when Lidia Sobieska dropped, which was more than a year ago. And if you ask the general consensus of Tekken players, they will probably say that the game was more or less dead for like 6 months. No major tournaments happening, everyone just going on stream and watching plays. Well, 5.0 changes up the meta so much that it brings life to the community back once again. Tekken is alive again, and I don't think we've seen this much activity happen on social media and online in a very long time. And on top of that, with the tournament scene coming back, it's definitely brought a much stronger interest in watching Tekken and participating in it. Granted, that's also in part because of the Tekken World Tour, but with a new patch comes new interest in the game, doing stuff differently with different characters, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. The important thing about patch 5.0 is that it tunes up a lot of the characters that absolutely needed it. Anyone who's been a fan of Tekken over the last 3 years will be able to tell you that Season Pass 3 was arguably one of the most divisive eras of Tekken 7. It's when it was clearly evident that the DLC characters were way too strong and overpowered when compared to the main cast. Characters like Leroy Smith and Fakumram were not balanced right, and Bandai Namco acknowledged this, which is why they did release subsequent patches trying to fix the issue. Then we got Season 4, where we got Kunimitsu and Lidia Sobieska, and they too were pretty broken out of the gate. Patch 5.0 addresses those lingering issues with these 4 DLC characters, along with a ton of different changes to their main roster. Characters like Asuka Kazama are now a lot more viable. Geese Howard was taken down a notch, and even Devil Jin suffered quite at the hands of this patch. Or so it would seem. Following the initial reaction, a lot of people online have been talking about how this patch is not as bad as it seems. Most of the cast got a well-deserved adjustment in their playstyle. Well, except Takuma. I don't know what deal Capcom has made with Bandai Namco, but Akuma still reigns supreme from day one. Regardless, these fine-tunings were much needed in the game, since it made everything really a lot more difficult when you went online or played in a tournament. A lot of the DLC characters had undue advantages, particularly because of new moves or different playstyles. And this patch brings everything down back to normal once again. Plus, it's an opportunity to learn these characters in a different manner, focus more on different moves and different tools to be able to play the game better. And I believe as time goes on, people will see more of why this patch was actually a good thing. Patch 5.0 introduced a new mechanic, which was the wall stun, or wall crush, or whatever anyone wants to call it. It also added a couple of new counter hit options. This definitely changes up the plays of many of the characters, and opens up new possibilities. The important thing to see here, however, is that it adds in a new mechanic for us to try out at the very end of the game's lifespan, and paves the way for the next Tekken game. Make no mistake, the changes made in this patch are definitely going to be reflected in Bandai Namco's next project. It's similar to the case of Street Fighter V, where the introduction of Luke brought in some elements that were ultimately the core of Street Fighter VI. So whatever is in this patch right now, I believe we should all get used to it, because this is exactly what is going to be in the next game. Bandai Namco is giving us this opportunity to understand what the new game is going to be all about, and to adjust to it a little bit before it comes in. Now, granted, the new game might have a little bit of different playstyle, and some of the mechanics might not be well adjusted for Tekken 7, but at least we do have a heads up, and that's ultimately a good thing. Overall, my thoughts on patch 5.0 are basically that this is a patch that was needed by the community. Bandai Namco gave it to us and we all hated it because a lot of the characters that we really liked got nerfed. Well, to be honest, that's exactly what they needed. The game needed adjustments in certain areas. And it's not like it was all nerfs. Some characters did get buffed. So you might as well try playing Katarina or Josie Rizal or Anna. In all honesty, I'm happy to see the activity that Tekken has gotten because of this new patch. This was important. Our community needed this one final hurrah before sunset. And that's exactly what we're getting right now. The Tekken World Tour is paving the way for some of the most hypest games that we're going to see this year, as we've seen in events like EVO and Versus Fighting. In due time, we'll be able to see why patch 5.0 is actually a benefit to the community and exactly what we needed within the game. And hey, if it improves the competition, then I'm all for it. Anyways, those were my quick thoughts on Tekken 7 patch 5.0. What do you guys think about this? Do you like the new patch? Do you hate it? Do you just want to play some good Tekken? Let me know about your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, this is Silver Fox. Thank you so much for watching.